Dale, Juanito. Loosen up, man. It's Friday. Loosen up, Juan. Right? Loosen up, Juan. Loosen up, Juanito. We can have that music in your club. Are we going live? I don't see it. That's why I was asking. Huh? And I thought we saw something. First guest is calling at 10 after. Hey guys, how are you? Buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? That was social media guru stuff going on here. Tell us when. He's trying to get it live over there. Hey guys, thank you for joining us here. A ver, Juanito, como que te haces más para acá. Scoot over this way, Juanito. So, because the mic is going to block my face here. There we go. Ready?
Ready.
Ready. Hey!
You got it?
Are we on? All right. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo están todos ustedes? Good afternoon. Welcome to Nuestra Comunidad NWI, Indiana. WLTH AM 1370, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. Are we sounding good? Clear? All right. We're good? Yeah. We good? Oh, you want me to put the headphones on? So that I can hear what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Well, I don't sound that. I hear all of him, but
I don't hear anything.
I hear you. It's called raise the volume on your mic. I mean, your headphones.
I can reach it.
Yes, you can. There you go, Juan. Got it. This is AM 1370, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. I hear a children's voice. Am I hearing things? Oh, I thought I heard a child talking. We have a little kid invisibly in here. Well, good afternoon to our YouTubers and to our Facebookers and to our listeners on AM 1370 and 92.7 FM. It's been a while. I haven't been in the studio. You miss me, Juanito, in the studio? I know you didn't miss me personally,
Sure.
but in the studio. The views expressed by the host and the callers of the show are not necessarily the views of WLTH radio management, owners and sponsors and advertisers. Yeah. Okay, Juanito, it's 5 minutes after the hour. We have two guests coming on today. Powerful things, great things that we're doing in the community, and you'll get to hear from some of the experts that are part of what we're doing in the community for our youth. Real quick, Juanito, you got any announcements real quick?
Yeah, real quickly.
A ver.
Next month, we have our fish fries starting again at St. Pat's. On March the 10th, we have our feast day of St. Pat's. It starts with the bilingual mass, followed by the celebration of St. Pat's with some entertainment and so forth. Also, tomorrow, it's been some time now that Mr. Nicholas Pacific, our public defender in our court, passed away, but they are having a memorial service for him at 10 o'clock, which is at the time that I will be at the radio station here. It will be at 10 a.m. at St. Maria Goriti Church, 500 Northgate, Dyer, Indiana. So I need to call Miss Angelica and let her know that I won't be able to make the service for our here. In addition to that, Little League is coming up for East Chicago. And for more information about the Little League, call Mr. Joe Ochoa at 219-755-5668. And then you got a job fair coming up on the 16th from 11 to 2. Register to guarantee an interview at crymca.org/job fair. And I want to say something real quickly. I guess there was a shooting sometime today in Aurora in some plant. I don't know how many people got shot or maybe even killed. All I did hear was that 4 police officers did get shot. What I also did hear just now, it was done supposedly, but not confirmed, by someone who was in the plant, who was a current worker, who was about to get fired. And what he did was
Retaliated.
fired at
Retaliated.
innocent people. And even though he might, it was going to be the boss or whatever that was going to fire him, that's not a way to deal with being fired. People do get fired. I don't know what the reason why would be the case.
Well, we know that's not the reason. That's not the
but
way
it
to do it.
wouldn't
But
reach
if
it
you
to
don't
deal
know
with being
better,
fired. People,
if you don't know better, you
Mhm.
will not do better. So
Mhm.
this person obviously didn't know any better. He let his emotions get the best of him. Juanito, why you look at me like that? Like you want
no,
to. I
no,
don't know if you guys noticed
but you know what?
live
We
on
don't
the
know. We don't know
cameras
how
here.
this guy.
We don't know what he was
He might have
thinking.
been okay.
He might not have been
No, no, no,
okay.
no, no,
Come
no,
on
no, no,
now.
no, no.
For him to
When he
do
got his
that.
gun, when he got his gun.
No, no,
No,
no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no. I
Okay.
beg to
No,
differ.
no, no.
I beg to
Hold
differ.
it, hold it
I
real
beg
quick.
to
No, no, no,
differ.
no.
You think
Okay,
he
we don't
was
know.
fine when he
First of all,
grabbed his gun?
no,
I
no, no,
don't
no, no,
think
no.
he
I'm
was
not talking
fine.
about. No, I'm talking about today. I'm talking about whenever he bought or was given his gun as a gift or whatever. I'm talking about the point he actually got his gun, not today.
We don't know the reason why he bought it.
No, the point I'm trying to make is this:
But people have the right
was
to
he
buy
someone that maybe
their
had
arms.
mental issues in the first place and should have never gotten the gun? If we would have had smart gun legislation, that's the point I'm trying to make. Not
Smart
about getting the gun
legislation.
today, Eve.
Speaking of that, we're going to talk about that on a different day because we don't have time
And
to
I'm
talk
done.
about this.
I'm
Okay,
done.
well, thank you. Hey, Juanito, I'm telling you, we got a comedy show going on here with one. And in just a minute, we're going to have our first guest calling in, which you are very familiar with, Junior Achievement. Miss Gina Frisser is calling in. She is the board director for the Junior Achievement Organization. We are a non-for-profit, and she's calling to invite you guys to have some fun, and she's going to share why we want you to join us and support the cause and have some fun. Now, how many of you parents have actually got word from your child that, Junior Achievement was in their classroom? Junior Achievement did activities with them. How many of you parents actually found out that we were in somebody's school, in your child or grandchild's school? We want to be in more schools, but we need funding. So we're going to let Gina talk about that, and she'll be calling in just a minute here. And of course, you can call if you have any questions at 219-885-1371. I'm going to leave Larry over here. And also after the half out of the hour, we're going to have Mark Price call in from SAFE CHR, Safe Coalition of Human Rights. You know, we often talk about how do we protect our youth? How can we help them? Where I'm all about solutions. So we have two guests coming or calling in. Our first caller, I'm sure, is probably calling in now. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to raise the volume on my headphones so that we can hear our caller, our guest here on Nuestra Comunidad. Can you guys hear us well?
I'm sure is probably calling in.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. All right, Gina, are you there? Hola, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Just waiting to hear some great things from you.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
So tell us a little bit about you, Gina. Who is Gina? Gina Frenzer. Who is she?
Well, thanks, Steve. My name's Gina Fessler.
Fessler. I'm sorry. I said you wrong. Your last name wrong. Apologize.
Oh, no worries. No worries. So anyways, today Gina Fessler is representing Junior Achievement in Northwest Indiana, where I've been a board member for the last several years. And really, really proud to be our gala chairperson for the last 3 years as well. So that's the Gina Fessler that you're talking to today.
Yes. So tell us how long you've been in the Junior Achievement. How long you've been involved, Gina?
Well, Eva, it kind of dates back to when I was a kid. I was actually a recipient of Junior Achievement in my elementary school growing up in the suburban market of Chicago. And as I transitioned into my career, having worked in the Chicago market, I started facilitating JA as a volunteer opportunity. And then when I made my move to Northwest Indiana about 12 years ago, I've been teaching Junior Achievement in Northwest Indiana ever since. So that's it. I've held the whole lifetime of Junior Achievement.
Yeah, most definitely. What did you get? And I'm going to ask you that when you were on the other side, you were the student. What did you get out of JA?
I think as a child, the really neat part about junior achievement is one, there is a new figure, an adult, a professional from the community that comes into your classroom, and as a child, you think, "Gosh, that is just so awesome to have this adult, this parent, this role model, and this professional, taking the time out of their day to come into the classroom and talk to you as a child, and then help you learn things that the teacher doesn't normally teach you. Things like how does our little community work together, and have we ever thought about what business owners do and how they become business owners, and maybe even think about, what you want to do when you grow up, what types of careers exist. And when you're a child, I think it just broadens your horizons and, opens your eyes to so many new possibilities and opportunities as you continue to grow.
Yeah, most definitely. And of course, in case you didn't know, Gina, my co-host Juan Andrade has also have been a volunteer in the past years for junior achievement, and he likes volunteering, going in the classroom and helping. So I'm going to ask him a question, and then I'm going to get back with you. Juan, how does it feel to be a volunteer, and why do you feel it's important to volunteer? Obviously, you felt it was important enough for you to do it. Give us a little feedback on that, based on your experience, and why do you think others should get involved?
But first of all, like I said, it's very important for other adults to get involved, to share their experiences, to share their careers. Or I know Junior Achievement does more in terms of what the volunteers do in terms of maybe talk about the careers on career day. There's also about financial literacy and other topics that the volunteers cover. But as someone who has no children, it gives me an opportunity to go into classrooms and provide my experience when it's on career day to talk about what I've been doing since 1991. And at the same time, also be able to provide valuable information based upon some of the different other topics that we talk about when it's not career day that we're there on career day, but we're doing financial literacy or starting a business or anything to that effect. So not only it's an opportunity to provide our experiences and lessons and knowledge and education to the students, but it's also an opportunity to listen to the students, to hear the students, and learn from the students because it goes both ways.
So you encourage other adults to get involved, other experts, other people with careers?
I'm sure Junior Achievement can or use as many volunteers as those people that would like to be a volunteer, being, I guess, a nationwide organization. But at the same time, it's also something to consider, and that is this. You volunteer when you have the time to do so and you have the availability to do so. It's not where you have to do it on the day that you were chosen to, or they have an opening. It's up to you to decide if you're available on that day and you have different locations to go to. It's not just one
But
location.
I was only asking about the importance as to why they should volunteer, and I'm glad that you are one of them. So Gina, why should we get involved with JA? Tell us a little bit about a few programs that we are having, and now I think it's mandated now by the state where our kids have to learn a skill. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell you that I'm an expert in that arena. I would tell you that there are some state mandated programs that include pathways to success for our high school and I even believe middle school and children. And so JA has really, found a way to be collaborative in that arena and provide, teachable experiences in the classroom that go hand in hand with that pathways to success program. But there are several junior achievement programs that are taught throughout the schools. And let me just reiterate that these programs are geared towards children in classrooms from kindergarten all the way through high school seniors, so 12th grade. And so a couple ways that you can be impactful in the programming is by doing a traditional JA program in the classroom, which is where you are provided with no cost materials for an entire curriculum. You go into each classroom or into the same classroom for 1 hour or 45 minutes each week for 5 weeks, and you provide, interaction and teaching on that particular curriculum. And that would be, again, for age ranges of K through 12. Another way to do it, I think, that was mentioned already, is to get out into the classroom and do a reverse job shadow, where basically you're talking about your career. You're helping to be a role model and inspire the youth to think about what it is they may want to do as they grow. And it really provides real world experience. And students are really encouraged to ask questions and engage in conversation with that particular professional. And then one of the other ways that is pretty common, something that people really love here in Northwest Indiana, is to get into the classroom and facilitate a JA and a day program. And that's where we take our traditional learning materials and we ask our facilitators to get out there and volunteers to facilitate those programs in the classroom all in one day. So we segment a several hour shift. So basically you can dedicate, one day and teach a wealth of JA information to students in a 3 to 4 hour period. And again, a lot of the times there are so many different opportunities that you can really, leverage your own calendar and schedule and get out there and teach on days that you're available. And Eve, I actually just looked at our schedule. We have 20 programs that are needing volunteers here in Northwest Indiana over the course for between March and May. And that doesn't even include the schools that haven't yet committed to a date. So there are so many opportunities, and really it ranges from all through Lake County and all through Porter County, as far north as Gary and as far south as Cedar Lake, and then everywhere in between Boone Grove, Valparaiso, Lake Station, and you name it.
Wow. So that means that we have to really go and gain that momentum out there for volunteerism. We need them. How should we reach out if they want to volunteer?
Yeah, there are a couple ways to reach out. You can reach out to our executive director. Her name is Roz Maluhos. And I can provide you with her email address, or they can even visit our website, JA Chicago, and inquire that way as well. So we can maybe put those details online. Is that possible, Eve?
Yes, we certainly can. For those of you that are watching live on YouTube and on Facebook, you guys have actually seen me share the page, seen me share the event that we're going to talk briefly about in just a few minutes. It is important. And Gina, we're all giving our time, dedicating our time, because we see the importance of educating our youth, giving them programs. But what's mainly important, in order for us to continue with these programs, who's funding these programs, Gina?
Yeah, that's a great question, Eve. These programs, they are provided to schools, both public schools and private schools, that inquire about junior achievement and adapt our programs at no cost. So the students are learning, and we are not, again, engaging in any financial cost to the schools. The cost really comes into play, in regards to creating that material and making sure that we have enough for every student in every classroom throughout Northwest Indiana. And the funding comes in for that through generous supporters of junior achievement, donors in Northwest Indiana, and so many wonderful companies that continue to support the initiative of embracing, empowerment of financial success for our students in Northwest Indiana. So, there are ways to give independently. There are ways to give through your organization. There are match programs. There are so many opportunities. And again, if anybody listening is interested in donating or becoming a supporter or volunteer of Junior Achievement, I encourage them to visit our webpage and reach out to us directly.
And what was the webpage again?
The webpage is Junior Achievement of Chicago, and there's a link for the Northwest Indiana division.
Junior Achievement of Chicago, all one word?
Yep.
All right, because our Facebookers are asking to post the information. So after the show, I'll go back and put that information there for those of you that want to volunteer. If you have, go ahead.
Can I just mention a couple of things?
Yes.
So statistically, Junior Achievement in Northwest Indiana, in the last school year, we provided over 2,000 classrooms with financial education programs. That's over 53,000 students in
Mm.
Lake and Porter counties alone.
Wow.
And we want to continue to offer that to even more students and more schools. But in order to do that, we need resources. We really need volunteers, from anybody who wants to step up. If you have a job, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're a professional, we are always looking for volunteers in all arenas to help us. And then, of course, like you mentioned earlier, the funding piece as well.
And I was just going to mention the parents should want to get involved, as you said, the stay-home moms and or dads, or if
Yes,
they happen to have been retired and they're still parents or the grandparents of their children, that they have come home and say, hey, we had someone volunteering. And how cool was that? Like the last one I recall made a big statement because Juan, I think his last name is Gonzalez. Yeah, he's from Hammond. He's a firefighter. And kudos to him. He's had an anniversary. He and another co-worker went with their gear, and they did a contest to how quickly what the students could put their gear on. So they really were excited about that, and they'd like to come back again. So we know we're asking for departments, right, Gina, like the fire department, the EMTs, or police
yes,
department.
absolutely. The students absolutely love and embrace when they have some hands-on experience. So doing those reverse job shadows in the classroom, where if you're a firefighter, a police officer, an EMT, any career, even nurses, doctors,
Yes.
things where we can do some hands-on, just even some short training, or just to give them what the feel of what it's like to be in that profession. It makes a difference, and it really engages the students.
Most definitely. And of course, if you want to volunteer, you will get an email with full detail from Katie Hobgood or from Roz, and they're great in sending out information. I too get the information and then I put it out there. But Gina, there's something that's coming up, and it's very, very important that we get everybody involved. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned it when I first kicked off,
Yes,
but we have our
more detail.
yeah, more details, please. We have our third annual um, prom gala for Junior Achievement Northwest Indiana, and proceeds from this event go back to benefit the programs that we were just speaking about in Lake and Porter counties in Northwest Indiana. And this is our absolute largest fundraiser of the year, and it's really a blowout party for us too. It's just a super fun event. Each year the theme changes just a little bit. This year we're celebrating Mardi Gras prom
Yeah.
on March 8th
Yeah.
at Avalon Manor, and we start off with a cocktail hour at 6 p.m. and at 7:15 we move into dinner, plated dinner with drinks and a short presentation to award some really amazing junior achievement supporters, both organizations, schools, educators, and individuals that reside here in Northwest Indiana. And then of course it's prom, right? So there
Mm-hmm.
has to be dancing, and there has
Yeah.
to be a prom king and queen. And the event has a fantastic silent auction, just so many great items to bid
Yes.
on, donated by folks throughout the community and businesses. So we are so excited. We want everyone to come out and celebrate the success. And most importantly, I didn't even say this, but we have student speakers that will be there. We have a couple of elementary school children from throughout Northwest Indiana that will be there and tell us about their JA experiences. We will have a couple of our junior ROTC students who help to facilitate JA programs in Northwest Indiana. And then we'll have a couple of students from IUN and Purdue Northwest that collaborate with JA, and they will talk about their experiences in the classroom with their JA mentors. So this is a not to miss event, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just a ton of fun. I can't.
It is. Oh, and we have a lot of prizes. A lot of, when I say prizes, is for those that go to the silent auction. There's big, big ticket items, right?
There are. We have some really generous donors, both in Northwest Indiana and on the Illinois side, that just have donated fun things. So I don't want to give away any big secrets, but you have to come out and see what's in this auction.
That is so great. Again, is there a phone number where they can reach out besides going on our Facebook page and the website? Is there a number or an email address that they can directly
Yeah.
send to you?
Absolutely. So if it's in regards to anything, you can reach out to me. I am on the board of Junior Achievement Northwest Indiana. I do work locally here in Sayreville at First Financial Bank. So I will give you my email address. It's my first name, Gina, Gina, period, Esler, S like Frank, Ezler, at bankatfirst.com. And my number here is 219-227-3311.
Wonderful, wonderful. You have any questions, Juanito, for Ms. Gina Fessler?
Well, like I said, it's a really great non-for-profit
Yes,
organization,
we are not-for-profit.
a nationwide organization. So, I mean, I guess all we can say is to all the volunteers for however long they've been volunteering, congratulations to them and for what they do as a volunteer of Junior Achievement, because as a volunteer, you do not get paid. And so that's a great thing. And you get to share your knowledge and careers and everything else with the students. So it's just a great thing, great organization.
Do you have a question for Ms. Jenna Fessler?
Other than that,
Regina?
at the moment, I don't. But go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, we have just a few minutes. Any more important things, please, that we have yet to ask or we did not get to ask that you want to share with our audience?
There are just a couple of quick things, Eve, that I'll
Yes.
mention. I know we talked a little bit about JA's mission, but just so that everyone understands, Junior Achievement provides the no-cost program in K through 12. The pillars of those programs are financial literacy, work readiness, and of course, entrepreneurship. And those are three key areas that each of our curriculums focus on, starting all the way at the kindergarten level and going up through the senior level of high school. And so we really want students to be able to own their own economic success and think about those careers that are out there and the needs of the region. So that's why it's so important to have volunteers from all arenas. There's just so much impact to be had. And so on that note, I just want to say, on behalf of Junior Achievement Northwest Indiana, thank you to our volunteers, thank you to our donors, and thank you to our supporters, because we could not do this alone. And I'm looking forward to working with some new faces as well. So thank you so much for allowing me an opportunity to share about Junior Achievement and our upcoming event. So
our pleasure. Thank you so much, Gina, for coming on, and to the entire board and also to the staff from Junior Achievement for all the wonderful work that you're doing.
So thank you, Eve, and Juan, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. Thank you,
All right,
Gina.
have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was Gina Fessler from Junior Achievement. She is on the board of directors, and I too serve on the board. So you guys can reach out to me via social media, via Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, however way you guys can reach me, flag me down, wave me down, or what have you. And if you guys have any questions to call in, 219-885-1371. And in just a few minutes, we have Mark Price calling in also for something else that has to do with the youth. We often talk about our youth getting in trouble, our youth doing this, doing that, getting kicked out, getting dropped out of school, being thrown in juvie, locked up, and all those negative things. But there's a solution to everything. If we were to only just share our heart with our youth and also lend an ear and a shoulder, we can gain some trust out of our youth and get to find out what actually is really going on with them. Obviously, when you know better, you do better. But sometimes society wants to put a label on our youth, wants to put a label on kids, including probation officers. No offense, Juan.
But there's more than that. Than what you just
I'm
said.
not done. Allow me.
Okay.
Allow me.
But there's more than
Allow
that.
me.
Go ahead.
Allow me.
Go ahead.
Don't cut my concentration here, because I'm all up inspired about what we do to avoid our kids being seen by a probation officer. And then when it goes there, it continues on to the adults, and then they get to see Juan or other probation officers. But we're all about giving treatments, giving counseling, giving love, because when you know better, you do better. I'm going to keep saying that. There is a fact to that. When you know better, you do better. But society says, oh, they know better. Really? If they knew better, they would do better. No, they don't know better. We have these spirits in us, evil spirits in us, that give us the temptation to want to do things because we're not in the right to begin with. And when we start being in the right and we have someone on our side that we can trust, that we can confide in, that we can talk about and vent to, then they start changing. They start listening to you because they don't want to listen to somebody that's not been there, done that, or just all hot air and just talk and not really showing them true love. And the hardest part about our youth is them having a hard time trusting people. They have a hard time trusting anyone because I had once a child, a young lady saying, I think she was in middle school. I told her, I love you. And she's like snappy right away. And she's like, no, you don't. How can you love me when you don't even know me? I said, because you are a child of God. That's why I love you. And then another one of our students from the crossing. Obviously, the crossing is also a solution for a child that was not meant to be in traditional public school. And they don't take the time that we do to give them love, to hear them out, to be that shoulder, to be that co-parent, if you will, because sometimes the parents aren't there for them, and that is a fact. And then we are there either as the educator, as a staff, or as a board member, as an advisory board member. So when some of the probation officers, all they want to do is lock them up. Things have changed in juvie, from what I heard, that now they can't easily just lock up our kids. Thank you, Jesus. That was an answered prayer, because you're not helping our kids by just locking them up. We need programs. We need advocacy. We need you to love them. I don't care how bad they are. You know, there's no such thing as a bad child. I call it a misunderstood child. Because if you go back and look at their background and you go back and research why they act the way they do, why they do or say they do, you go back and find out, well, you know what? And it just came out on the newspaper. She got arrested. Mom left 3, 4 kids from 11 and under all alone, taking care of each other. And I got another word on that one. Where was the school to not find out that these kids were not being fed, were not in a warm home, were not in a clean home? Where were they? Did they not smell them? Did they not see that they were probably wearing dirty clothes? Were there no red flags? I was like appalled to say, now you wait until the child went to ask for help, and then you're finding out that they got 3 little space heaters. They have no food. Mom has not really been there with them. And, well, now we got kids taking care of kids. Then they're not doing so well at school. Then they're getting in trouble in school. Then they're not finding out. Probation officers aren't really digging to help why they're doing what they're doing. And if they don't catch them while they're young, then they come and visit Juan, and then Juan or in their department don't figure out and peel the layers like an onion and find out that this issue right now that's happening goes way back to when they were 5 years old. Yes, Juan, there is more to it. Way more.
Okay,
But people don't take the time, like society wants to put labels on kids and adults, not realizing that it's bigger and deeper than that. Yes, Juan, you have returning, what do you call them, customers? Well, let's find out, why do they keep returning? I'm going to tell you again, if you know better, you do better.
First of all, I deal with adults, not children.
I
You know,
understand.
but here's the thing. You know what? It starts in the
Don't
home.
take it personal.
It starts with the home and the
Don't
parents.
take it personal,
I know,
Juan.
that's fine.
It's not
It
about
starts
you.
with the home
It's not
and the
about
parents.
you.
Then it goes on to the schools. So if the parents aren't doing their responsibility as a parent,
Then the village has to step in.
Then the base is
Then the village has to step in.
Then the schools.
Then the
okay?
village is part of the
And you know
schools.
what?
They got to
When we
step
talk
in.
about students, for example, that get in trouble with the law, that's why I've mentioned in the past about creating a legal literacy program in the schools, beginning in elementary school, in middle school, and high school, just like we have financial literacy. We need legal literacy taught in our schools. And we also need to bring in our churches into the mix, because it's about the parents, it's about the schools, and it's about the churches when we talk about community in terms of where these children go and how they go in the directions that they go. So and so when
it starts at home, but we keep
you know what?
pointing the finger to the parents
Okay, because
and not solving the
because I only
situation.
deal with adults. Like I said, some adults are.
I didn't say
up there.
what probation officers
No.
want.
Here's
You
the-
looked
okay,
at me
here's the
and you
point,
got
Eve, Here's the
offended.
point I want to make.
Hey, quit
Eve, here's the
taking it
point I wanna
personal.
make.
It's not about you.
Eve, here's the point I want to make. I deal with adults. So the point is, sometimes you got adults that are 30 years old. Sometimes you got adults that are 40 years
And
old.
they don't know
Sometimes
better.
you got adults that are 60 years old.
And they
you
don't
know
know
what?
better.
They don't know any better. They keep coming through. They keep spending money left and right. They keep going to jail. And you know what? They may be 40, 50, or 60 years old.
Well,
but that's
thank
only
God.
because of their
Can I
age.
just
But
say something?
they haven't grown up, period. So when we talk
So
about
what makes
youth,
you think
we
they
want
don't
to
keep
get,
coming
we
back?
want to, we want to prevent our youth from that maybe in juvenile probation to graduating to adult probation.
You want to
So,
prevent that, but guess what?
and so, you know what,
Guess what?
Steve, legal literacy
Guess
would
what?
help out if it were created, if it were
Juanito,
taught in the elementary schools
Juanito,
and the
let
middle
me
schools
just
and
say
high
this real
schools.
quick.
And yes, we need God in their relationships. We need faith in their
That's first
relationships,
and
but it
foremost.
starts in the home.
But because
Okay.
it's not at home, we cannot play the blinded eye. Okay? We cannot. We all have to come together because that's somebody's neighbor, that's somebody's grandson, that's somebody's cousin, that's somebody's friend that's being affected because the parent is not there. So then we should say, well, that's not my child, that's not my problem. That is a problem when people do that. Now, think again, Juan. If you didn't have those reoccurring customers, would you have a job? Think about that because it's called school to prison pipeline. Have you watched those
Okay.
videos?
You know what?
School to prison
Let me
pipeline.
stop you right
The
then and there. You know
system, the
what?
system is broken.
And
The
you know what?
system,
If
the people
okay,
want these kids
okay,
to be
you
locked
know
up,
what?
and then they go into the adult
Okay,
world into jail, and then that's money
Eve,
coming in. If there's beds empty,
okay,
you're losing money.
okay,
If there's no customers
okay.
that are creating crimes, then you have no
And
one to
that's never
talk
going to
to,
happen.
and
But
then your
the
job
good,
is
I'll tell you right
gone.
here and right now, it will be a great thing if all these repeat customers, and I'll just call them customers,
Why
stop
do you call them
repeating. And that
customers?
would be a great thing. But you know what, Eve? We are all human. We do make mistakes. So
Right.
maybe if someone made a mistake and had to go through the court, got convicted and got probation and never came back, you know what? That would be a great thing.
It sure would. And
Okay.
imagine everybody did that, then you'd be jobless. Anyway,
Well, then I would be jobless, and then that would be a
let me
great
just
thing.
say this. I'm finding out that now through juvie, they don't just want to incarcerate them that quick. And I was thankful to that because we're not doing them, we're giving them a disservice. We're not helping our kids by locking them up and then not giving them any programs. So, what does that do for jobs? I don't know. And frankly, that's not my problem. My problem is what we're lacking solutions for our kids. 38 minutes after the hour, we're here at Nuestra Comunidad, WLTH AM 1370, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. And I know that Mark Price is actually driving on his way to the airport. And I just realized that he may have texted me, not sure. But nonetheless, we get emotional. I'm very passionate when it comes to our youth because I have two children, whether I had children or not. It does make a difference because I know what it's like to wake up with a child that's not well. I know what it's like to rush a child to drop them off at school. I know what it's like to deal with them when they don't want to go to school. I know what it's like to deal with a child in class that's acting out. I know what it's like to deal with a child that's not being listened to and needs to be heard. I know what it's like for a child that's been molested. I know what it's like to be with a child that's been raped. I know what it's like to be a child that's sexually active because of what happened in their childhood and adolescent age. I know what it's like for a child that has no parents. I know what it's like to talk to a foster child. I know what it's like. Been there, done that.
Okay.
I know what it's like.
I'm literally going to put my
And
money.
it's not
Go ahead.
and it's not going to end if we keep pointing fingers, if we keep trying to create more havoc and just want to jump to conclusions and quickly want to leave kids in the wrong hands. We know DCFS has dropped the ball, not just local, but national, statewide, in other states. We know that they give the child to the parent that shouldn't have had them in the beginning. And then you got the other parent fighting for custody, but you're like, no way, this parent has to have the child. And then they end up dead.
Let's give tax credits and parents that would go through programs like with parents
But
as
we all have a
teachers.
tax credit,
No,
period.
no. But
We
I'm
already
saying,
have one from
no,
having a
if
child.
they go through a program, if they're a first time parent and they go through the program that, for example, parents as teachers provide, you know what? Let's give them a tax credit through the state of Indiana and throughout all the states in the United States of America. As one situation here, like I said, we need legal literacy program created that will be taught in the elementary schools, in the middle schools, and the high schools, so that the kids will know about anything and everything that has to do with the courts, that has to do with the police, that has to do with committing crimes, and it has to do with the consequences and what those consequences could mean down the road in maybe getting into a certain college or getting a certain job.
Right. And it will affect them if they don't get the right love, the right treatment, the right care. But we cannot force a parent. We cannot force a parent to do what they don't want to do. Not all women were
If
meant to be mothers.
that's where the
Not all women. We
tax credit
cannot
would come
for
in.
it. You know what? Some people are not all there, Juan, that they can care less about that tax credit. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. And Mark, if you're listening, we're waiting for your call. I'm about to
'Cause
text him
it's
real quick. But on that note, also, where's Mark? March 8th, we're having an event, and it's a Stop Bullying Conference, March 8th at 6 p.m. in East Chicago. And
Eve.
that's March
Oh,
8th, the
okay.
same date as
Which
JA.
I
I
was just gonna
know.
say,
I
but
know.
one's in the morning and
I'm
in the evening. Is that
no,
correct?
they're
No,
both in the
they're both in
evening.
the evening. Oh,
Yes,
okay, okay.
at 6 o'clock. The doors
Oh,
will open
okay,
at 6
okay.
o'clock for Stop Bullying Conference in East Chicago at the East Chicago Church. And the address there, or actually, if you want to register for this, this is March 8th. The door will open at 6 p.m. www.stopbullying.today. Register. There's limited space, so register. We have kids from 7 to 16 to come and be part of this. We have breakout sessions. We have entertainment. We have a great panel of experts so that parents can hear. And we also have resources so that parents will know what to do, where to go if you are the parent of a bully or you are the parent of someone that's being bullied or bullied. Please attend this awareness conference where this is Friday, March 8th, limited to 100 students and 35 parents. We do have space limited, so please, this is a free conference designed for parents and students ages 7 to 16. Food, prizes, breakout sessions, entertainment. Get inspired with the panelists, experts. Again, register at stopbullying.today. And that's at 4429 Olcott Avenue in East Chicago, Indiana. Phone number for more information is 219 742 7699. 742
Let me ask you
7699.
something, Eve, because the day, the
So I'll
original
have to
date,
split.
the original date
I
that the
have to,
bullying conference
it was
was
changed three
rescheduled to the 8th,
times.
right?
Yep.
So when did you know about the 8th for JA and
Oh,
you
that was
moved
a
it?
long time before.
So you
But I'm
didn't?
going to split myself in two. I already told them that's taken care of. Anyway, I don't need to mention this off the air. I will be at both events. How's that? Because I'm co-hosting the bullying conference that I cannot not go. So it's 44 minutes after the hour. I did text Mark. I know that he's driving to the airport. 219-885-1371 if you want to call in with questions. Oh, he said I sent him the wrong number. Oh, sorry if that is what happened, but he's got a few minutes to call in anyway. Juanito, you got anything else? I'm going to read what's on the screen.
Well,
Can you read? I can't.
I can't
I don't have
read
my
my hearing
glasses.
aid. We're
It's
gonna have to
called
move it
Get
up.
Close. No, don't.
Oh, I can't read it from here.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have just a few minutes left. We're going to have Mark Price calling in. We're going to talk about the SAFE, CHR, SAFE Coalition Human Rights, and it's important to bring awareness about human trafficking. It's bigger than you know. And we also are working on a project regarding that. Is he on? Is that him? No? Is that a caller? Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Eve, and hey, Juan. This is Vanessa.
Well, hello,
Hey,
Dr.
Vanessa.
Vanessa. How you doing? Beautiful. Long time no hear.
I know you're waiting for a call, so I'll make this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Urban League has scholarships available.
Yes.
You know, scholarships, money.
Yep.
Money for students who are graduating, and they're not due until March. So there's a lot of money out there. So students would go to our website at www.ulofnwi, which stands for Urban League of Northwest Indiana, and click on the education. They will see the scholarships listed there. And then the online scholarships, we have even more. So I just want you to share again with those parents and students that there's money together out there for Lake Porter, LaPorte County students, which means Hammond, East Chicago, Gary, Maryville, Michigan City, you know, just so people will know there's money out there and the scholarships are available, or they can call my office at 887-9621.
Awesome. And just so you know, I do share it on all social media, and individual students that I know that are attending next year to college, and some have actually made it to the the one that you do every year, the scholarship fair.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dee, definitely.
So thank you.
Hope to see you
Yes.
tomorrow night if you
Yes.
can.
I just saw that. I had it on Facebook, so I wasn't looking until just now. So I just responded. And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks,
May you be blessed with many, many more.
What you all do.
We're going to party. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you then, Dr. Vanessa.
Well, Eve, mañana, because this is the only bilingual talk program of its kind.
Sí.
Dr. Ramon Labette, cardiovascular director for
Dr.
St. Catholic
Labette.
Hospital, will be in the house, in the studio. I don't know if Deborah's going to be here with him. That's mañana, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you got to educate yourself. Hello, are you Mark? Are you Mark? Hello, Mark, are you there?
I am here. Good evening.
Hi there.
Good evening.
Sorry
Good
about
afternoon.
you said I sent you the wrong number. Forgive me. I haven't had my glasses on all entire day, so it kind of I have to squint. But I'm glad that you called. We have time to talk about what we're doing. But first of all, for those that don't know who Mark Price is, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Currently a financial advisor with Edward Jones out of Hobart, Indiana, and former Wall Street trader, out of college and worked downtown, New York, and very heavily involved in Lake County. Born in the south side of Chicago, but pretty much raised out here in Northwest Indiana. So it has allowed me to the different nonprofits that I'm with, from school boards locally to formerly Hispanic Voices with Mr. Ed Peralta. I've been introduced to a lot of interesting individuals, just like Dr. Gopal and Dr. Sandra. I don't know where we are in the show right now, but with Safe Coalition and anti-child trafficking, it's allowed me to really get involved in a cause that is worthwhile and actually very much needed in this area of the world.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about a little more in depth. You got time. You got about 15 minutes, Mark. So tell us about Safe CHR, Safe Coalition Human Rights.
Interesting statistics, and like I said, I don't know where you guys are in the show, but
it's your time now. So tell us what we need to hear.
Okay. So it's every year in the United States, about 300,000 people are trafficked, and that goes from young children to adults. But we are sitting in a very unique corridor. So human traffickers use our expressways here to move people and children from Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. And basically every weekend they can be moved to any locations that they have along the interstate. And it is a big business. 10 years ago, just talking about our southern border from Mexico to the United States, drugs used to be the number one commodity that was moved across our border. Now it's human beings, human lives. It's a big deal. I like that we actually are shedding more light on it nowadays, because it just seems to be something that's gaining some momentum because it is such an epidemic. I mean, people can talk about opioids, which I'm not taking away from that. It is. That is a big problem.
Right.
But when we're looking at the future and our children, child trafficking is absolutely a huge problem that we have right now as well.
It's bigger than we know, right?
I'm sorry?
It's bigger than we know. It's becoming more and more.
Way bigger. And I'm sure that the numbers that I throw out at you are low. But nonetheless, it's still something that we need to address. And, Safe CHR, if you haven't, touched on it yet.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up my soapbox here. Basically what Dr. Gopal and Dr. Sandra have been trying to do is, once our juvenile justice system recognizes that these individuals are part of human trafficking or child trafficking, we don't have the resources in the state of Indiana to help remediate what's going on. So what the doctors have planned to do is create this safe village, and that's once a child has been deemed as part of being trafficked, to bring them into a safe, secure location where they can learn life skills and be reintroduced into society, which we basically take for granted. And being able to do that in a way that they end up being productive members and living with the scars of their past, but being able to move past that and be positive influences in the community.
And where
that's a mouthful. I apologize.
No. That's the more information, the more awareness. And what is it that we are looking for from our community, Mark, for this project, for this safe home?
If you can repeat that again, what are you looking for?
What are we looking for from our public, from our listeners to support us for this project?
Well, we really would need, the village is a pipe dream as of now. I mean, we have the vision. There are many things there are several plans in place for what to do when we get money. But the idea is it all starts with money. We have a location. We have the idea of where it can go, what it's going to look like. But it takes money. And, having people with the same vision and, a heart and a checkbook, it sure helps to be able to create what seems to be a fantasy at this point, to a reality. And the fact is, it's needed. I wouldn't be on board if I didn't think that there was substance to it. Exactly. It's a lot of work right now. All volunteers. Everybody's working on this on a volunteer basis. And we're just hoping that with the same like-minded individuals with good donor support, that we can turn this dream into a reality by creating this village.
Right.
So land costs money, buildings cost money, just sustainability. And I guess if that's what you're looking for, what do we need to do to make it happen?
Yes.
Some money.
That's right. So we need people to come together, volunteer in a sense of bringing people that are like-minded, that have a heart for our kids in this. What is it that we are going to just kind of have the audience pay attention to what you're saying and paint the picture of what it's going to look like once it's already being built. What we call it a gated community.
So imagine about 40 acres with secured fence, a couple of buildings, administrative, but mostly housing units, so that you can have boys and girls in separate facilities, but common areas where, number one, the first and foremost, having the psychological, not evaluation, but the therapy and the ability to, come out from underneath the hole that these traffickers put mentally and physically on these individual children. Having them in, the ability to talk about their feelings and work with the psychologists that are going to be there to remove that mindset that they are nobody and nothing and can't amount to anything. And then having the ability to teach them different life skills, how to cook, how to take care of themselves, how to wash clothes, and the normal things we would think that is normal to an average person. I mean, they haven't had to take care of themselves.
Right.
Showing them and giving them the ability to interact with others, having a hope and a future. That's kind of where it all begins, is in these buildings. So from living independently to an extent, and having counselors and medical doctors that are able to treat them.
Right.
So just imagine. I'm not saying utopia by any means, but making it very inaccessible for people or the bad guys that want to recapture these ones to bring them back into the trade. Would be secured. There would be individuals there for security purposes, but there would be staff and administration and doctors there that would attend to them 24/7.
That's right. So that is a project that will solve a lot of problems. Mark, we had Dr. Gopal had shared an article with us. I'm not sure if it was via text or an email, where there an organization, a safe haven, a safe place at that, is being investigated. They're under investigation for these kids. Supposedly they should be safe in this place, but we're not. because they were being abused there as well. So
Right.
my response to that article was like, this is why it's so important that we get this project up and running so that we can unequivocally keep our kids safe in this gated community. I'm calling it a gated community now, Mark, but keep them away.
Same premise, but
It,
same thing. It's safe place.
a safe place for them and teach them about survival skills and bring them back to society as someone that has been groomed and has been treated psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically if they've been hurt physically. So, where can we reach out if someone is listening, Mark, that wants to sponsor a building? I mean, we have listeners that maybe they may not be able to, but maybe they know someone that can financially able to sponsor a building, then they can call it their last name building, like the Gates building,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And we're really open to all types. And, Dr. Gopal is much, or Dr. Sandra as well, are much better able to speak about that. But,
right.
At this point, if individuals would, either donate land or property, they might have, 20, 40 acres that, we would be able to start this on, or be willing to build, one of the housing facilities or things like that. I mean, that would be fantastic. And hopefully you can put on your Facebook page,
yes,
the contact info of Safe CHR, the phone number, the website. But trust me, this is nothing new. It's just being brought more out front because it is such a growing problem. And like I said, I mean, it was even quoted in a movie that I remember it just came out probably a year ago. And so I'm not, reinventing the wheel, but, the trade for Mexico used to be drugs about 10 years ago. Now it's human lives.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are children. So it's not just that country, it's here in our own.
It is.
Americans taking young American children and bringing them into human trafficking. So, but it's prevalent worldwide. And there are many organizations that do it on a greater scale, even around the world. But we're just focusing here at home. It's a big enough problem that we in Lake County have to deal with in Northwest Indiana. That we are focusing our efforts and the expertise on what we call home right here.
Right, and some of the kids that are actually are out here are not from out here.
Correct.
Those that have been rescued, maybe from another state, maybe from another country.
Yeah, and that's why I said the states all surrounding where we're at.
It does.
They move them and traffic them all the time. That way they're never on one place too long.
Exactly. And I just realized, give me a second, Juanito. I also shared an article I found that in December, there were 123 victims of human trafficking rescued in Michigan.
Yeah.
That's just like not long ago. So it happens every day.
Well, Mark, this is Juan Andrade. I don't know if you remember me, but not only is the issue with human trafficking, with the spreading of the parents and the children that are coming in through this country undocumented, but even as of now, you got kids on the other side of the American border that came with the caravans without their parents. So there's an issue there. Kids are being sent with these caravans without their parents, and then in other cases, parents are being separated by their kids. So, one way or the other, it's something that needs to be solved sooner than later.
Right.
Yes. And I'm going to give you credit, Juan, so as long as I've known of you and been with you on occasion, I know you have a deep interest in helping the kids. You and I both volunteer for the We the People contest. We believe in the youth of, trying to better themselves and looking for the future. Because let's be honest, I mean, the kids are going to be taking care of us. When we
Exactly.
But here's one of the statistics from the FBI when I was in the court system for the correctional system here in Lake County. The FBI said that what ends up happening with children coming from South America is, the mother will lose a husband. They'll have kids together. The new husband doesn't want anything to do with them anymore, so they sell them to these certain gangs, and the gangs use them as basically mules. They give them enough money and information to get them to the border, and as soon as they come over, they take whatever it was they were carrying from them, give them a little dough, and now they're in the United States without knowing a soul. They have no family here. They have no idea where they're going. They have a little bit of money, and some of the youngest kids that they've had are 7 or 8 years old. That's an amazing, because I know what I was doing at 7, and it sure wasn't trying to take care of myself or be with other family members that are with me. I was just being a kid, trying to be home before the lights came on in the street. So this is a whole different world we're living in. So
it sure is.
I'm behind this. I'm glad that you guys are bringing awareness, taking your time that you can be talking about a lot of other things, and you're giving us airtime to be able to, present our cause and hopefully reach the listeners of the ears of people that actually, care and want to do something about it.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. We're at the end of our show. We appreciate you, and we'll be bringing you back in other means of media as well. And have a safe trip.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
All right. You too. On that note, we'll be back tomorrow with Dr. Labette. Let's learn about our hearts and how to take care of it. And, besides loving ourselves. But we'll be back tomorrow. Juanito, we'll see you later and continue to enjoy life. Go to, real quick, we hope to see you guys at Dr. Vernon Smith Theater, Glenn Theater tonight, 6:30, the reception, 7 o'clock showing of the Gary Film Fest with William L. Johnson. So we look forward to seeing you guys there at the Glenn Theater, which is right around the corner from you, Larry. What's your spot?
Backstage on Broadway.
All right. Is that what we're going after?
Yeah.
All right. On that note, hasta la próxima. Se les quiere mucho. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nuestra Comunidad, WLTH, Nuestra Comunidad Noroeste de Indiana. Hasta la próxima. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, and adios.
Yes.
You're listening to WLTH Radio, 1370 AM and 92.7 FM, Gary, Indiana.
Celebrate Black History Month over the airwaves of WLTH AM 1370 and 92.7 FM.
And for our YouTubers, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with another show and a guest, Dr. Labette. So thanks for listening here. Enjoy the show and share the show. Peace to you. Thank you. Right, though.